With 7 inches of new snow on Beaver Creek Mountain, 4 inches new at Vail. Wow, you might be tempted to go into the backcountry to get some fresh powder, but make sure you're in the know before you go. We're going to talk to Vail Mountain Rescue right now, like we do every Monday, and find out about their latest missions. And well, it looks like you guys were busy last week with some lost skiers.
That's right. I think with new snow, folks will ski the area, and then they always want to get that next track that's just to the left or right of the last one. And eventually, that takes folks out of bounds, not knowing either they are intentionally going out of bounds or they just want to sneak out underneath the closure a little bit and then get back in, and they just never quite make it back in.
Yeah.
A great example is last Monday, patrol was following 5 people that left the ski area. They went out and they located 3 of them, but by about 4 o'clock, 4:30, 2 of them were still out of bounds and no one heard from them. So we got a call about 4:30 looking for 2 separate lost skiers. One we think was leaving Blue Sky Basin and was trying maybe to make it out to Red Cliff and called himself in, but then his cell phone went dark. The other one was skiing with a friend, and his friend zigged while he zagged, and somehow he ended up outside the area closure as well. Once you leave the area closure, you're kind of on your own.
Yes.
And that's if you're not familiar with it and you're not prepared, it can be a really tough place to ski.
Well, a lot of people try to do that Blue Sky Basin to Red Cliff, and it's very tricky. If you don't stay high up enough, you end up down by Lime Creek, right?
That's exactly right, and that's where they ended up. You get caught in that drainage, and there is a trail out there, there's a road, but you need to know where it is. You've had to do it before to recognize it, and especially at 4:30, 5 o'clock, it's getting dark. There's a storm coming in, so it was starting to snow pretty heavily up there, and you can get really disoriented where you are and where you're trying to get to.
And Ski Patrol, they're responsible for you inbounds, and that's where you get called. Once it goes out of bounds, they're not required to come and get you. That's where you guys come in.
That's correct. The patrol does a great job of marking the boundaries of where they actively patrol and help people. And there are gates that say you are now leaving the ski area, and you are on your own, and that truly means you are on your own.
You need to know where you're going. No, I understand that these 2 skiers, even though they were in separate parties, they ended up meeting up in the middle of the woods.
That's right.
But then they separated again.
Coincidentally, they didn't know each other. Through the middle of the night, they did come across each other, and they were together for a couple hours, from what we learned from talking to them. And then after a while, they split back up, not wanting, one was going slower than the other, and they wanted to keep going. And there's a whole psychology of being lost that you're not thinking logically at that point. It's always better to stay together.
Yes.
It's always better to either just stay where you are. If you think you can go downhill and you're going to get to somewhere. But in nighttime, blizzard-like conditions, stay together. You're going to be much better off.
Wow. So when did you guys find them?
We found the first one around midnight, just out on Lime Creek. And he's the one that told us, I ran into this other random guy in the woods, and we asked him, well, where is he?
Oh, you're kidding.
He was cold, he was scared, but otherwise he was fine. We were able to get him back out, took him out to Vail Pass, actually, where we had a crew waiting for him to take care of him. And then we found the other one about 2 or 3 in the morning, further down on Lime Creek, trying to head towards Red Cliff, but he was sitting kind of under a tree just going, I just don't know where I'm going, where I'm headed.
Wow.
So we were fortunate to find both of them that night.
Yeah, and now, it's getting so cold in the evenings. I'm glad that they were both okay. So what are the lessons here that we can learn?
So make sure you know where you're going. If you're crossing out a boundary, make sure you're an expert skier, you have the right gear, and you're not skiing alone. 2, make sure people know where you are. The one skier was skiing by himself all day on Vail Mountain. He wasn't from here. He came over from Summit County to enjoy some of the snow, but obviously didn't know the area very well. The other was skiing with a friend. He went out of bounds at about noon.
Wow.
And we didn't find him again until 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh man, it could be scary. Okay, well thank you. I'm glad you had successful missions, and Vail Mountain Rescue does such a great job of helping you out. A lot of times you just think, okay, I'm just going to go out of bounds for a little bit, and know before you go. And if you do, it's going to be a great time. But when something goes wrong, it's nice to know that the Vail Mountain Rescue is here to help you out. You can find out more at vailmountainrescue.org. We're going to take it over to Mark Sassy for your weather.